best deck in Master Duel is here.
Kashtira, my mans. More like cash my wallet out.
In today's video, big dog, not only will I be showing you all the strengths of this particular deck, I actually even get to show you a couple of weaknesses that you may not know about. So in case you are trying to beat or play Kashtira, this is the video for you. Let's jump on in. All right, big dog. So Tobias is going to be showing us the power of Kashtira. He hasn't been showing us really good videos as of recent, but this might be a different type of game. I'm going to be showing you a couple of duels revolving around Kashtira, everything that works with this deck now, and of course, its weaknesses as well as its strengths. As you can see, this isn't the best hand in the world, and Kashtira is pretty easy to disrupt, but let's go ahead and jump into the game so we can see what happens. Our opponent seems to be playing on the new Gishki cards. Okay, so they'll use Focus Aquamariner to summon Grimness, and we'll use Infinite Impermanence to stop the Gishki Grimness from being able to special summon a Gishki monster. They'll then follow up by using Gishki Shadow to add any Gishki spell card, and then they're going to activate the Photo Mirror, paying half of their life points, 5,000 of their life points, to special summon Eva Gishki Nemarius. Now this card's actually pretty cool, because it can special summon a water monster in the graveyard, special summon back the Shadow, and now as you can see, those two monsters can be used for a Link Summon into Sprite Elf. This is actually one of the coolest decks inside of the pack, I will not lie to you guys. Getting back Gishki Nemish and then using both of those monsters for an Exceed Summon, they're going to make Gigantic Sprite, which can summon any level 2 monster from your deck. So you guys are probably already seeing the synergy with this deck with Sprite. Sprite Blue will get Sprite Jet. Sprite Jet will be able to add a Sprite starter from the deck to the hand. And then they're going to link again with the Sprite Jet and the Sprite Gigantic Sprite into a Sprite Elf again. Activating the Sprite starter, they'll special summon Sprite Carrot, and then they'll keep going. That one disruption does not stop this deck, as our inboard is going to be pretty solid. There's an IP Masquerena, a Sprite Elf, which prevents both of our monsters from being targeted, and Nerimina's Iviski Nemarius has a quick effect to return one Gishki ritual monster to the hand to be able to negate an effect. So really good board, actually, being able to play through disruptions and everything. And I think that this deck is pretty fun. If you guys like this Gishki deck, please send your boy a Gishki replay, or is just straight fire. Follow the rules in the description. Let's see how we play against this. Oh, then Focused Aquamariner set to Aquamariner of Illusion. Uh-oh, that's actually pretty good. And it's going to be up to us to break this board. All right. We'll start off by activating Racehorse. This is the most important card, and since it's at 1 in Master Duel, it's actually pretty smart to stop it. So if you guys ever wanted to stop that particular card, do so, or wondering if you should. We're going to chain Crossout Designator to the effect of Ash Blossom. They go Maxi and Sprite Elf, which probably means they wish they had Sprite Carrot a little bit sooner, but here we are. From here, we'll resolve the effect of Race-Off to be able to get Kashtira Finra to our hands, and then we'll tribute over his monster to summon the Radiant, and our opponent will respond with using the effect of IP Masquerena to link off all of our monsters. Now, unfortunately, getting rid of a Kashtira deck's board only means that they can summon more Kashtira monsters to their side of the field. So Kashtira Ogre and Tier Limits Kashtira are very easy cards to play here, and they allow you to be able to Exceed Summon Steel into one of the best cards in the deck has in its arsenal. This time, number 28 Titanic Moth allows them to be able to attack directly. Moth also has another effect that allows you to inflict another amount of life points in that game. So even when you can break the opponent's board, as you can see, this deck has other ways to be able to win games easy. All right, big dog Tobias, don't fail me now. This is a hand. Kashtira does have troubles bricking from time to time. This isn't the worst hand in existence. Trust me, for Kashtira, this is a pretty solid hand. I've seen worse. But one thing I do want to point out is that this deck can brick like no other. You really need to watch out for that and build your deck appropriately. This time around, we're going first. We normal summon the Kashtira Ogre and use the effect that gets Ash. That is a very questionable Ash Blossom right there. Personally, I would save the Ash Blossom for a Kashtira Theosis. I think that's the best. Especially since Kashtira Ogre allows you to look at the top 5 cards of the deck and then banish a card. That could be really tough. Kashtira Rice Heart gets special summon, and typically, again, if you guys have a card like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence, a lot of times stopping this card is really, really strong because not only does it prevent it from becoming level 7, it also will prevent you from losing the top 3 cards of your deck, which, depending on your deck, that could be huge. Kashtira Birth will also follow up by allowing us to special summon Unicorn. This is also a really good card to Ash Blossom or to even Infinite Impermanence. And Theosis is typically the card that you want to Ash Blossom or the Field Spell. Kashtira Finra will get Kashtira Tearlaments to the hand. And now with all 3 monsters, they're kind of going ham. They'll make Kashtira a Rise Heart, activate Tearlaments Kashtira, banishing Theosis, and then using the effect of Rise Heart and Tearlaments Kashtira. So, Tearlaments Kashtira normally would benefit a player by sending cards from the decks to the graveyard, but since Kashtira a Rise Heart's on the field, they get banished instead, which could then trigger a Rise Heart to attach again. So this is actually one of the most powerful, disgustingly ridiculous cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! It actually got banned in the TCG because it's just ridiculously good. There's some weaknesses about this card that hopefully I'll be able to unveil to you a little bit later, but the strengths of this card is that every time a card is banished, it gets another material, and then you can recycle your own materials in a special way to get even more advantage with the card, and also it can banish cards on the field. It's a walking Dark Law with the effect of a Zodiac Dryden. It's kind of crazy, guys. We then attached to Maxi, and then cards were banished again, so we attached the Theosis. So this card started off with 3, got to 5 materials really easy. And this deck, another big weakness for this deck is Nibiru. We're going to start off with Runic Flashing Fire. In response, Timaeus is going to use a Rise Heart to destroy this Flashing Fire, and since a Rise Heart has an effect to banish face down, we won't be able to get any effects of Runic Fountain. Theosis was then banished, so it adds Kashtira Unicorn. And now the opponent's going to summon Neteria Camellia, which triggers the effect of our Kashtira Ogre. They do play Nibiru, again, a really good card to counter this deck, but unfortunately they get clapped right now. In response to the Smiting Storm, there's the Maxi. This is literally just Timaeus being disgusting. To be honest with you, the game, it might not look over, but it's pretty close to over. Especially considering that Kashtira Birth can banish spell cards. You might already know about that. This is disgusting. My boy is really trying to play the natty boys into this deck. To be honest, if there were decks that would really be hindered by Kashtira, I would say Runic decks do nothing against this deck, because you can potentially banish cards like Kashtira Theosis and Kashtira to give your opponent advantage. They love their cards being banished. You also set up cards like Kashtira Birth and stuff like that, so not the best thing in the world. Our opponent is still struggle busting here. They'll summon Neteria Camellia, then Synchro Summon, all while just giving us a... I mean, we didn't even need the Maxi. That's how ridiculous it is. They'll summon Baron de Fleur, then use Baron de Fleur to destroy the Birth. Often, if you guys are trying to go against this deck, you want to destroy the Kashtira Birth. That is like mandatory. But another huge weakness of playing Runic cards is that you gotta skip your battle phase, and there are so many times where you need to be able to attack. So I personally would not recommend Runic cards against Kashtira. It's like a double-edged lose-lose-lose situation. And now we're gonna watch this deck in action. You're gonna be able to see some crazy things. As my man Timaeus, questionable hand again, my guy. This hand's more questionable than R. Kelly in a middle school. This is very, very questionable. Any type of correct disruption, like an Infinite Impermanence on a Planet Pathfinder, we're down bad. But we do have a Crossout Designator and a Call by the Grave, so we are low-key protected. You're going to see a lot of the Kashtira strategies take advantage of Call by and Crossout. So Planet Pathfinder adds Perpetual Racehorse. Racehorse adds Unicorn. This is the normal combo line that you probably should be doing. Unicorn gets Kashtira Theosis. Theosis targets the Unicorn to special summon Kashtira Finra. Finra will add Kashtira Rise Heart. And both of those monsters can be used for an X-Seed summon into your Kashtira Shingri Era. So from here, we'll activate the effect of Kashtira Rise Heart, and you're going to watch something really cool. We'll banish the Big Bang, which can then trigger the Shingri Era to banish or block a zone, but also Big Bang can remove an attached material, add it to your hand, or special summon it. We'll summon the unicorn. Also, since we use Shangri-Ira's effect, you can now exceed summon into Kashtira Riseheart with just one card. Here is where it really becomes good, because Pot of Prosperity is not necessarily being used here to dig into cards. It's actually what you banish with Pot of Prosperity, which makes it so insane. We'll use the Prosperity to see a few cards. We'll add the Kashtira Scareclaw, but since cards were banished, Kashtira Riseheart can attach a card to it. And here's where Kashtira Riseheart gets really cute. You guys remember when I said anytime a card gets banished, you get to attach materials from cards? And the cool thing about it is that we can banish our extra deck. We can attach cards that normally shouldn't be attached to a Riseheart. Cards like Infinite Track Goliath, which prevents Kashtira Riseheart from being destroyed by card effects. But then there's other cards like Garura Wings of Resonant Life, meaning that when a Riseheart actually does leave the field, we get the draw card. Elder Entity Intis, which pretty much does the exact same thing except for destruction. Then there's other cards like the Fossil Warrior monsters that you can place under a Riseheart. So basically, since the deck does not need its extra deck, you can be equipping cards or attaching cards to material that have other graveyard-like effects or other bonus abilities to a Riseheart to make it even stronger. This is our inboard, which is a Scareclaw Kashtira, Unicorn, Shangri-Ira, a Riseheart. Theosis has a crazy effect to add to our hand when it's banished, and since as long as we can activate it within a Riseheart, we're going to be able to get some pretty good play. And it gets attached, so it's just going to add another banished card. Once this deck gets into rotation, it's really hard to stop. Our opponent is going to be playing against us. We'll use Shangri-Ira into the Ogre. Now, there's one thing I want to say about this particular situation. And this situation, I think Tamiya's did wrong, because he should have just summoned Finra instead of Unicorn and not activate the effect of Shangri-Ira. The reason why I say this is because in a normal board, you're not going to have stuff like Cross Out Designator, my boy. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have Coldbite. You're not going to have these crazy cards. This is like the God Hand, right? Your opponent will use a card like Change of Heart or Triple Tactics Thrust, because keep in mind, this card must activate. This is one of the biggest weaknesses for this card. Even if it's already negated, it has to activate, which means cards like Triple Tactics Thrust and Triple Tactics Talent are live. You then use the Triple Tactics Talent to take any of these cards, and voila, you can slam your own Kashtira or Riseheart on top of their Riseheart, and they ain't getting it back, my boy. So a lot of times, you want to be really wary of using Shangri-Ira, especially if like your board isn't as crazy. You can use the Shangri-Ira to summon a Finra, and then they snatch your Finra, get their own Finra, and slam it a Riseheart on top of it. That's just a no-win situation. It's really bad. So we're going to go ahead and use the effect of Raceward to destroy our Big Bang, which triggers the effect of our Big Bang and our Kashtira Riseheart. We'll add the Finra to our hand for follow-up and attach the Big Bang to our own Riseheart. And now, as you can see, Triple Tactics Thrust. If he played Triple Tactics Talent, my boy, I'm telling you, Triple Tactics Talent to take, holy, it forces Kashtira Riseheart to just use its effect. Like, it has to get rid of itself. And then you get to take another card, which is just, it's ridiculous. He has Crossout Designator, but still, in a perfect world, you don't have that. You're getting clapped. Harvey's Feather Duster gets activated. We chain Crossout Designator, and because we're super jerks, we are going to banish Kashtira Finra, meaning that our opponent cannot use Kashtira Finra, which is actually a pretty decent out to what we got going on. Our Riseheart then attaches another material, my guy. It has 6 materials already. And our opponent will start off with Planet Pathfinder to get Pressure Raceward. A Riseheart will then activate as alongside of Kashtira Ogre and Kashtira Unicorn. We're going to be able to banish cards. And what I really hate about Master Duel is that Zeus is limited to 1. So once they get to look at your extra deck and get rid of Zeus, getting rid of this board does become that much harder. They'll then banish another card from our deck. A Riseheart is attaching, and Shangri-Ira is locking, and locking some more, my guy. Come on. Now, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying kind of ridiculous for Kashtira. 8 material Kashtira Riseheart. We don't need any of that. That's crazy. They're going to add the Kashtira Unicorn and then summon it. Use its effect to get Kashtira Birth. Activate Kashtira Riseheart. Summons Riseheart. Riseheart will banish another Unicorn. And now a Riseheart will attach. will then go Kashtira Unicorn, banishing the Rise Heart. But now they'll just go Rise Heart to attach the card that we banished. Kashtira breif will then special summon another Unicorn, and we'll use both the Kashtira Unicorn and the Rise Heart for an Exceed summon into number 11 Big Eye. This would normally be the best thing in the world. But the problem here is that not only do we get to banish the Big Eye with Kashtira or Rise Heart, this little Shangri-La is going to activate right here alongside of the Kashtira and the Theoses and all this other stuff. It's going to lock out that last spell and trap card zone. So what do you do in this situation? You can't activate any spell and trap cards. You locked yourself out. Good job, buddy. Well, Shangri-La did use its effect. So you can go ahead and make your own Kashtira Rise Heart. But unfortunately, your Rise Heart ain't going to beat this. Wait, your Rise Heart can beat this. Hold on, time out. Wait, is he goofy goobling? What am I missing here? Don't we just attack it to the Shangri-La? Then don't we just like keep playing with the rest of our cards in our hand? We must have like something, right? All right, we attack into the Rise Heart. It attacks over it. All right, looks like we don't need our spell and trap cards in. I don't know what to say. Who needs them anyways? Going into the main phase, Change of Heart is a really good card against this, especially if your Rise Heart doesn't have enough material. And then you can attach your own Change of Heart. And as you know, Scareclaw Kashtira can attack and defense, so there's that. That is pretty crazy, guys. Let's show you a deck profile so you can see what a standard, or just about what a standard Kashtira deck may look like. All right, guys, so this is probably what you're going to see a lot for Kashtira. This build is fairly solid. There's 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, and 3 Infinite Impermanence for hand interruptions. Those are probably some of the most played cards in the game right now when it just comes to being able to stop whatever the opponent's trying to do. But of course, as you guys already know, there is so much more than just hand interruptions. It's how your deck plays. 2 Planet Pathfinder, the most important card to get into your Pressure Planet Racehorse. And since the deck doesn't really normal summon, it's very free. 3 Rise Heart, 2 Fenrir, 1 Ogre, 3 Unicorn, 1 Kashtira, or Scareclaw Kashtira, 1 Tier Limits Kashtira, 2 Change of Heart. This card's really, really, really good, but I expect more players to be playing cards like Forbidden Lance very soon to stop cards like Book of Moon and cards like Change of Heart. So I'm not sure if this will stick. 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Pot of Prosperity, 3 copies of Kashtira Theosis, 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust, 1 Pressure Planet, 3 copies of Birth, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Appointer of the Red Lotus. This card is actually completely, it's really busted. It's a crazy card, but it's only so much better when there's best of 3. So use this card, if you will, with caution. There's 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence and 1 copy of Kashtira Big Bang for that extra deck, that beautiful extra deck. We're only playing 1 Infinite Track Goliath for our targets for our Rise Heart, but it's perfectly fine. You guys can play other targets like Garua and Elder Entity Intis, like I said before. There's 3 Big Eye, 2 copies of Titanic Moth, 2 copies of Dark Arm Dragon, the Dragon of Annihilation, 3 Shangri-La, 2 Kashtira Rise Heart. You really only need 1. You kind of have to play 2 in case your opponent looks at your extra deck and picks out a card. 1 Zeus, 1 Goliath, like we said, and 1 Donner Daggerfire. This card's actually in crazy, crazy good because it can get rid of itself if your opponent gives you a particular monster, so you can summon a Kashtira monster again. And that's all that we have for this profile, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Overall, if I had to give it some squadas, I think it's a solid 4 out of 5 squadas, showing you guys how powerful Kashtira are. And if you guys want to show me how great Kashtira is, or if you want to show me how great some of the other decks are, or cards that you've gotten from the set, go ahead and follow the rules down below in the description. I'm actually waiting. Can't wait to see your video.